Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really going to unpack a story that honestly demands our attention. It starts with promise, ambition in a changing city, but it takes this incredibly dark turn.
Mm-hmm.
Our focus for this deep dive is what's become known as the Bangalore acid attack.
Yeah.
And it's a case that just rips open the facade of India's tech boom.
Yeah, that progressive image.
Exactly. It exposes these hidden, really deep scars of misogyny and, frankly, entitlement. So, picture Sanvi Iyer. She's just 24, software developer, really a rising star in Bangalore's tech scene, which is, incredibly dynamic.
Right.
She'd just gotten promoted, big step in her career, moved into her own place. She was, really living the dream, professional success, independence.
Everything she'd worked for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a city that's often seen as this beacon of modernity opportunity. But then, just an ordinary morning, heading to work, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
She was attacked with acid in broad daylight on a busy road in Whitefield, one of those huge tech hubs.
It's shocking, the brazenness of it.
It really is. And this isn't just about one crime, though. We can't just file it under urban violence and move on.
No, it's much bigger than that.
Right. This deep dive is about something more pervasive, more insidious, really. It's a look into the dark currents of misogyny, that deep sense of entitlement, and the real physical violence that can hide behind, professional suits and progressive talk.
Absolutely. Hiding in plain sight sometimes.
So our mission today is to unpack Sanvi Iyer's story, understand the context of the attack, and importantly, explore what this awful event tells us about a societal issue that affects, well, probably more people than we realize. We're going to distill the core insights from the sources, give you a direct path to understanding this critical, really troubling topic. Let's start with Sanvi's background. Give us a fuller picture. Where did she come from? What led her to Bangalore Tech?
Well, Sanvi grew up in Coimbatore, down in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
She was the only daughter. Her parents were a school teacher and a retired railways officer. And the sources really emphasize how dedicated they were to her future. Pouring, as one source put it, every ounce of their energy and money into her education. They saw her potential.
Investing in her, really. Believing in her ability to break the mold, maybe?
Exactly. It wasn't just about providing. It was an investment in a different kind of future. And it really paid off. She was brilliant, apparently, especially with code.
A natural problem solver, the sources say. Logical, articulate.
That's right. And by 23, which is incredibly young, she'd landed a job at one of the biggest multinational tech companies there.
Wow. That's huge. That's the dream for so many young people in India.
It really is a testament to her intelligence, her work ethic, her drive. So she moves to Whitefield, gets into that fast-paced tech rhythm.
Long hours, lots of coffee.
Right, too much filter coffee, as one source mentioned. But she stayed grounded, called her parents every single night.
That says a lot.
It does. Shows her character, her connection to family, despite the demanding career.
And what really jumps out from the sources is her independence. Fiercely independent.
Yes, she took immense pride in it. It wasn't just a state of being. It was something she actively asserted.
Like her walk to work. Only 900 meters, but she chose to walk it. Refused cabs for short distances.
Mm-hmm. It was a conscious choice. Asserting her right to navigate the city freely. There's even that quote.
Why should I be scared to walk in my own city?
Exactly. That just sums it up. Her belief in her right to occupy public space without fear. In a city that prides itself on being modern, safe.
Yeah, that quote becomes incredibly poignant later.
It really does. And Sanvi's story, it just perfectly encapsulates the hopes of so many young, independent women in India's tech hubs. Bangalore especially, it's seen as the center of progress, right? Opportunity.
Definitely. A magnet for talent like hers.
And her independence. It wasn't just personal. It felt symbolic of this larger shift. Women entering professional spaces, moving away from maybe more traditional paths.
Forging their own way. Right.
Redefining things. But that leads to this really crucial, uncomfortable question. How does this modern ambition, this feeling of progress, clash so violently with these underlying, often really deep-seated norms about women's autonomy?
Especially their right to say no.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Her simple act of walking to work, refusing cabs,
Yeah.
it speaks volumes about her belief in her right to just be there safely. And the terrible irony, the thing we really need to focus on, is that the very symbol of her independence, that walk, became this site of the attack.
It's devastating.
It just shatters that illusion that progress in tech or the economy automatically means social progress or safety for everyone.
Yeah. The public space still feels like a battleground for some.
Sadly, yes.
So with that picture of Sanvi determined, independent what happened next is just heartbreaking. Let's walk through that morning, July 11th, 2025.
Okay.
The sources piece it together. It's 8:37 a.m. Sanvi steps out, beige salwar, laptop bag, just a normal scene heading to work. CCTV footage, which was vital later, shows her pausing for a second, replying to a text, just an ordinary moment. Then she crosses the street.
And that's when he shows up.
Yeah. A man, hoodie, black helmet obscuring his face, approaches from behind, holding what looks like a water bottle.
But it wasn't water.
No. Sickeningly, no. In seconds, literally seconds, he uncaps it, flings the liquid right in her face.
God.
Her scream must have been horrific. She collapses. Passersby rush over, shocked, but the attacker, he's gone. Vanished into the chaos.
So fast. So precise. Chillingly so.
The physical cost was immediate, brutal. Rushed to Manipal Hospital, second, third-degree burns, face, neck, collarbone.
She was conscious through it.
Conscious, excruciating pain, shock. The doctor saved her life, thankfully, but the sources are clear. Her face will never be the same.
It's not just physical, is it? It's an attack on her identity.
Exactly. Deliberate, targeted, meant to leave a permanent mark.
Yeah.
And the media, initially calling it another acid attack, another statistic.
That framing is so problematic.
Yeah.
Normalizing it somehow.
Right. Reducing her to a number, marking her, as one source put it, for daring to exist on her own terms.
And that contrast you mentioned earlier, the public setting, broad daylight, busy road,
Right.
versus the deeply personal, targeted nature of the attack, it's jarring.
It wasn't random. It felt almost ritualistic somehow.
Yeah. And acid attacks are particularly vicious because they aim to disfigure, to destroy identity, especially the face. It's not just physical pain, it's profound psychological wounding.
Social wounding, too.
Absolutely. Designed to mark a woman, to brand her for asserting herself, it's an attempt to erase her agency, punish her for being visible.
Which forces that question. What kind of mindset thinks this is a justified response to anything, let alone rejection?
Exactly. And the media just calling it another one highlights how disturbingly normalized this kind of violence can become. It desensitizes people.
We need to understand the psychological impact, too, beyond the physical pain. This idea of marking someone.
Right. It's not just the external scars. It's the internal trauma, the imprint on the psyche. It affects self-perception, confidence, how you move through the world.
It's like carrying the attacker's rage with you, always.
Precisely. A perpetual sentence, long after the physical healing begins.
So after the attack itself, the shockwaves continued when the attacker's identity was revealed. And this was maybe even more chilling for many people.
Yeah, it shattered a lot of stereotypes.
His name, Aditya Day, 28 years old, and his profile was just disturbingly normal.
Right.
UI UX designer, user interface, user experience at a fintech startup, educated, well-spoken, middle-class family from Kolkata.
Not some shadowy figure, a peer.
Yeah.
Working in the same industry.
Exactly. He knew Sanvi. They'd met 2 years earlier at a design sprint event.
Those collaborative workshops, common in tech.
Yeah. Exchanged numbers, connected on LinkedIn, apparently even shared memes. So not a stranger. Their initial contact was casual, professional, everyday networking.
Which makes what he did utterly unfathomable. That ordinariness is terrifying.
It really is.
And it forces us to look again at who commits violence. He wasn't from the margins. He was embedded in the same professional world.
Working in a field, UI UX, that often talks about empathy, ethical design.
Right. It completely challenges that stereotype that extreme violence only comes from, specific backgrounds. He had a stable job, educated tech professional.
The source quote is chilling. Violence doesn't only come from monsters. Sometimes it comes wearing a lanyard, carrying a MacBook.
Sitting nearby at a company event. It forces us to confront that uncomfortable truth. Violence can come from within normal environments.
So what happens when you combine privilege, education, professional success with this deep-seated entitlement and misogyny?
That's the critical question. It suggests those outward markers don't guarantee emotional maturity or respect for boundaries. Sometimes they might even fuel a sense of superiority.
Like they feel they deserve certain things.
Exactly. And it touches on that concept, the banality of evil. Normal people committing horrific acts when their desires are thwarted. It's more complex and, frankly, more frightening than simple villain stories.
Okay, so let's unpack Aditya's mindset, this warped perception, and the escalation that led to the attack. How did it get from a casual meeting to this?
Well, for Aditya, that initial interaction, exchanging numbers, memes, it clearly meant something entirely different. He latched onto it.
He believed it meant something more romantically.
Seems so. But Sanvi was crystal clear, polite but firm, said she wasn't interested, focused on work, a totally valid boundary.
And his reaction wasn't understanding, it was anger.
Classic pattern. He called her cold, not like other girls. It was just textbook misogyny, punishing her for not meeting his expectations.
Dismissing her autonomy because she said no.
Precisely. And when that didn't work, the harassment started. DMs, voicemails.
Then the flowers at our office. Unwanted, unreciprocated. That's a serious escalation.
Definitely crossing a professional boundary there, a personal one too. Sanvi tried to protect herself, blocked him, changed her number.
And she told HR. This is huge. She reported it.
Mm-hmm.
And HR brushed it off as a personal matter, just dismissed it.
Infuriating and tragically common.
How often does that happen, and how much did that dismissal contribute here?
It happens far too often, and it's a critical failure. Institutions that should protect employees failed to see stalking and harassment as serious precursors to violence.
Right.
By calling it personal, they essentially invalidated her fear. And, maybe unintentionally, validated his entitlement. It creates that silence where violence can grow.
It emboldens the aggressor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sends a message that the behavior isn't being taken seriously. And it connects directly to those dangerous ideas that romanticize obsession, that rejection is just a challenge.
His perception was exactly that. Rejection wasn't a boundary, it was a challenge.
That insight is key. It shows a fundamental lack of respect for her autonomy, a belief that persistence, even coercion, is okay.
And his view of women. Puzzles to be solved, broken, or destroyed. That's pure dehumanization.
It's at the core of misogynistic violence. Reducing women to objects to fulfill desires or be punished. Once you dehumanize someone in your mind.
The violence becomes possible, almost logical in that twisted way.
Exactly. An inevitable conclusion to their internal narrative.
And even after she blocked him, changed her number, told HR, he didn't stop. He kept stalking her.
Watched her Instagram stories using fake accounts. Stalked her near her old PG accommodation before she moved.
He was relentless and completely twisted reality, convinced himself she was leading him on.
That self-justification is terrifying.
And then that final note found in his app, if she can't be mine, she doesn't deserve to be anyone's. She needs to be taught a lesson. Just wow.
That's the blueprint right there. Possessive entitlement leading directly to violence. Chilling.
So Aditya Day was caught quickly, within 48 hours. A swift police response, which is something, I guess.
Tracking his movements was key.
He'd taken a bus to Hoser, planning to hide out at a friend's farmhouse. They tracked him using GPS, toll booth footage.
Didn't get very far.
No. And his confession, it was chillingly detached.
Without emotion, the sources say.
Yeah. As if explaining a design flaw in an app.
Yeah.
That just shows a terrifying lack of empathy, no remorse.
And his stated motive.
All about him. She humiliated me. She ignored me like I was nothing. I had to do something to make her remember me. All about his feelings, his ego.
Seeing himself as the victim, needing to assert power through violence, it's pathological.
The public reaction was huge, though. Hashtag Justice for Sanvi trended for days.
People were outraged.
Tech firms put out those generic statements about employee safety. Politicians called it unfortunate.
Right. Boilerplate responses often feel quite hollow.
And behind that immediate outrage, the source's stress.
Yeah.
This wasn't an anomaly.
That's the crucial point. The source states clearly, this isn't an isolated incident. Bangalore has seen a rise in crimes against women working in tech, especially involving stalking, harassment, and intimate partner violence.
Not just one bad apple. A pattern.
Exactly. And it's deeply embedded, even in supposedly progressive sectors like tech.
Which brings us back to why. Why are many attackers educated, employed, and outwardly normal?
The source points to that cocktail of entitlement, misogyny, and fragility. It transcends class or education.
They believe success means ownership. Kindness means consent.
And crucially, a woman's no is simply her being difficult.
Yeah.
That framework allows them to justify horrific actions. Her autonomy doesn't factor in.
How does that cocktail let them rationalize it?
If you believe success entitles you, kindness is consent, and refusal is defiance. Violence becomes a logical, justifiable response in their minds. And sadly, it's often nurtured by those societal whispers, attitudes, norms, maybe even jokes that suggest you're owed her love, or worse, if you can't win her, punish her.
And those whispers, if unchallenged,
They become a scream. They escalate into violence.
Let's shift focus back to Sanvi now. Her resilience. It's just incredible.
Truly remarkable.
She survived. She's undergoing reconstructive surgery, a long road ahead. Friends say she can't look in the mirror yet, which is just Heartbreaking, a constant reminder.
Unimaginable trauma.
But there are signs of that strength. She's talking again, writing again. Those aren't small things.
No, they're huge victories.
Yeah.
Reclaiming her voice, her agency.
And that declaration. And someday, she says, she'll code again. That hits hard.
It's defiance. Reclaiming her identity, her future, refusing to be defined by the attack. Powerful.
And her message is critical. She doesn't want to be just another statistic.
No.
She says, I want my story to be the last. I want the next woman who reports a stalker to be taken seriously. I want every HR team to know that this is not personal, this is systemic.
That reframing is so important. Shifting from personal tragedy to demanding institutional change.
Exposing the systemic failures that allowed this to happen.
Exactly. Her clarity, her courage in making her trauma a catalyst for systemic change. It's a powerful call to action for institutions, for society, confronting that dismissal of personal drama. And her message really speaks directly to you, the listener. It asks for that self-reflection. The source puts it bluntly. If you're listening and you've ever brushed off a friend's concern about a guy who just won't stop messaging, if you've told someone to just ignore it, if you've laughed at memes that romanticize obsession, you're part of the problem.
That's uncomfortable but necessary. It's about complicity.
Right. How do our small dismissals, our passive acceptance, contribute to the environment where this stuff grows? It's about shared responsibility, not blame.
How do those whispers, you're owed her love, punish her if you can't win her, become a scream when no one shuts it down?
It highlights that collective role we have, fostering environments where entitlement can't thrive. Every time harassment is ignored, every time no isn't respected, the whisper gets louder.
Yeah.
And the source ends with that chilling truth. The real horror. He could be anyone, and she could be all of us.
It personalizes it, makes it undeniable. This isn't abstract, it's a real threat. So this has been a difficult but vital deep dive. We've gone from Sanvi's ambition and independence to the shocking reality of entitlement and violence hiding in plain sight, even in tech. We've seen how someone seemingly normal can harbor such dangerous misogyny, and how complacency, both societal and institutional, lets it fester.
And the key takeaway is that violence doesn't always wear an obvious monster mask. It can grow from that pervasive culture of entitlement where rejection isn't accepted and a woman's no is dismissed.
It challenges us to look deeper.
It really does. And it makes you consider what small everyday actions or silences contribute to those whispers that let these mindsets escalate. What's our role in challenging narratives that normalize obsession or harassment?
Sanvi's story demands change. She wants to be the last. So the question for you listening is, what steps can you take to make sure the next woman reporting a stalker is heard, believed, protected, to ensure HR teams, institutions, individuals understand this isn't just personal, it's systemic. It requires collective action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, as the source reminds us, violence thrives in silence.
Don't look away.